Hi there, Zelda here. And guess what? This is actually future Zelda again. We are going to officially call this phenomenon Curse of the Twos because this is the second episode I have recorded where we start with mic trouble. I had done an update on my computer software, and every time I do, we get some settings reset and I forget to check my mic. Most of the time, Stream Chat is there to catch me and help remind me that I need to be heard, but in video recording, I only have my wits to rely on. Let's check back in with past Zelda and see if I can telepathically determine what she's trying to say. Wish me luck. I have the advantage of at least knowing what recordings are coming up, so I think we can start by saying a general thank you for the reception of the first video and the server in general. It's really been amazing to be part of a team that works together so quickly to resource gather, construct farms, and build. Now, to hold up my end of the building phase, past Zelda needs to kick into high gear and finish the interior of the portal that we left a mess last time. That is on the to-do list. However, I'm also interested in helping keep up on the chores on the server. There are several farms about that take... Excuse me! He interrupted me, and I just came over to say hi. We won't see him anymore. Rip Creeper 2. That might actually be the last sighting of Creeper 2. But as I was saying, I'm going to help with some of the housekeeping chores and get busy with a little bit of a time lapse to show you what goes on behind the scenes on a big server as we try to get started. So let's go for a ride. And here we are back with past Zelda to see what she accomplished while we were busy watching all the chores. I do believe that she got the interior done of the Nether portal tower, which I messed up earlier in the overdub. That is a hard expression when you're not actively thinking about what you were working on. So I think she's just pointing around at all the places she was. I am so ad-libbing this. But even out of what I showed, we didn't show all of the clips. Like the melon and pumpkin farm, the slime farm had already been compressed earlier that day. I didn't show the segment of us condensing rockets, or the trip to the Ender to make that fortune pick that we put over at the farming, the flower forest over here. I didn't show that trip. And then also there was a segment with the flower farms where I had kind of forgotten how to operate them. When the floor goes back and forth and it's spitting the bone meal up, you're only supposed to let that go for a little while and then run that back line so that the water flushes everything. So thankfully I hadn't gone more than 5 minutes of letting them run. Otherwise it would have been exactly for nothing. It would have been just a complete waste of bone meal, because then I would have failed to collect everything down into those front hoppers. So there was also a broken spot in the farm that I noticed as I was working on them. And then also one of the hoppers full of bone meal that feeds into the farm, I forgot to completely fill all the way up also. So here I am just doing the last little bits of tidying up that I had noticed while I was running errands. And yep, that takes care of it. So we do have like 4 or 5 sources of bone meal. But what I'm showing off here now is that I wanted to make a fox powered berry farm and composter, as we saw there on the signs, because I was afraid after watching, there I was pointing out that we were going to make it in a similar style to the chicken coop. And the reason that we want this is because I was getting nervous when I was running those farms that we were going to run out of compost material for bones. I did not realize when I did this that shortly coming would be a wither skelly farm, which produces bones out the wazoo, and a moss-powered moss-powered bone meal farm, both of which outproduce the foxes by leaps and bounds. So what I do here is I don't get the second fox, but we'll do a cut here and I'll bring you back in to show you the fox farm. We only got 1 fox in there, and already since I've built it, it has produced a full double chest of berries, and we are going to start composting them because I just wanted to make sure we had enough berries for future projects and builds, and that we wouldn't possibly run out. And so we do have a very passive way to collect bone meal. So let's cut and let me show you the fox farm. And I'm back with a little bit of a progress update. We had some things IRL to do for my birthday weekend that has just passed, so I didn't get as much time to play on the server this weekend as I would have chosen. But that's probably a good thing. Staying sane and doing stuff in real life is very important. But I did get a little bit of time this evening to work on the fox-powered berry farm, and I would like to bring you back in now to show you. So remember that our inspiration was going to be the chicken coop. Well, I didn't have an idea for how to change it, so I tried to keep it as similar as I could. I just I looked at it a couple times, and then I came over here and I tried to recreate it. So there is a little bit less depth to mine. I didn't push it back as far as I could have because I have a hill here to contend with. So instead of having like this nice little stoop for the chickens, our fox just has a little stair that he can go up and hide from the scorching heat of the midday sun. Or what he usually does is he just curls up here under the sledge. He's like, I want to lay in the nice soft. Yes, exactly. Thank you for demonstrating. He just decides he wants to curl up under the ledge on the nice cool moss floor. So I did do some azalea trees similar. I'm not sure. They look very windswept. I'm not sure I like how exaggerated this one is. Vault and Pants are working on the path, and Vault's over here right now. I had him come over and consult with me. I was like, hey buddy, let me know if this is too much. And he's like, I kind of like it. And I think with shaders it'll look really cool because it'll cast shade onto this path here. So as you're walking under it, it's so different from any of the old standard vanilla trees that it's going to take my brain a little while to get used to how angled they can be. So I like that one a little bit better. That one was cool. This one just went like really crazy. It's very windswept, as I said earlier. So we decided to keep it with one fox for now. And already in the time that it's taken me to finish off the farm and clean up my build materials, we've got over a stack. So you'll notice I didn't set up a hopper down here to convert any into bone meal. And that's because in the time that I was, so I recorded my intro clip telling you guys my project, and then I was off the server for about 10 hours. Let me show you guys. Let me give you a little bit of a heads up on a new project. It's called Project Bone Meal. I'm pretty sure is what Vert is calling it. Look at these farms. This one in front is a moss. It produces moss that is then converted into bone meal for the two farms in the back. So the tree farm I've shown off on stream. I don't know if I've showed it in video yet, but we do have TNT duping enabled. We run paper on the server, so it's an option you can toggle on or off. But we do have it enabled because we wanted to get build materials quickly, and it's still a vanilla feature. So we figured, hey, if the devs haven't fixed it, we're gonna run with it. Also, I just noticed that that's not ominous at all. So there's a TNT duping farm tree there, and then this one here is for the nether variant, I do believe. So you can see down there, I don't have a spyglass or optifine zoom, but this is what does the tree farms. And then anyway, I'm rambling. I'm super impressed with the projects that are going on. So I decided instead of I was going to bring in a second fox to my fox den and what I was going to do was have a dual area. So like one hut and then a second hut with like an arch in between, like a shade arch. And then have one of their little farms that was producing bone meal and one of them that was producing the berries. Yeah, we definitely didn't need that. We're going to have all the bone meal for days. So I just want a quick, simple way to get some sweet berries so that we can use for decorating. And then we'll probably shut the farm off at some point after this fills up, because then that'll be enough. But this is, and it also helped fill out the rest of the animal area. So this is the last thing in the animal area, because we have the eggs here, and then we also have the crushers in here. So we have a cow crusher, a pig crusher, and a sheep crusher by Soho. And then we have the wool farm is this building right next to us. So let me go ahead and pop in there, because I did say I wanted to show several of the builds off. Oh, let me take the actual path. Hold on. There's actual paths going in so that we can get to each of the builds. Sheep Shack. It's called the Sheep Shack. So it's all down there. This was where storage is. It's now been fed in up there. So if we need to get in and dye the sheep a different color for whatever reason, they're all accessible back here. Or if we need to fill up their shears, it's all in these side storage areas. So this was Milo and Math Girl. And then the egg farm directly behind, I think I already mentioned that was Milo and Math Girl. And then this one, the Crusher farm, was SohoNightSky. And he does have a video where he shows the process of this that I will link down below, because it was hilarious. And Soho, I loved your attempt at organic building. I know that's not your normal go-to. You've been using creative to test your builds, but I think this came out very well. Okay, so this is that stream project I was talking a little bit about. So if you'll follow me, we're gonna go down this drop chute. Whee! And so I helped clean up the drop chute with suggestions from chat. Misty had the idea of using amethyst to get down into this. It is actually the amethyst farm. And then black wool, because black wool is being used down here to decorate. So what was here before was the drop chute was kind of almost right where that chest was. It was right about in that area, and it was off to the side, and it was a lot lower. So I helped clean up just this entrance. So basically everything from like here this way is Math Girl and Milo, and I just came through and harvested the amethyst, so they're just growing a little bit now. But basically I just helped with this part, and then we have a silk pick and a fortune pick down here that are special. And what makes these special is that they don't have efficiency on them, because we've already lost a couple of the budding amethyst just due to the efficiency on regular picks. Makes it go a little bit faster if you're not paying quite enough attention. But then we have this water stream down here that I also helped. So originally the drops from the farm were falling into this, and the hopper chain faced this way, and it went up into a temporary holding cell right about roughly here-ish. So now we turned that hopper chain facing the opposite direction. And this is something I did on stream, so it was a little bit convoluted. Also, this area will have changed since the last time I showed it on camera. They are working on terraforming. Vault and Pants are working on terraforming the whole area out of grass into more of a sandstone with like formal walkways that I, completely disregarded just then. Don't tell them that I walked through the, through the grounds. But basically, they are working on that, and let's see if I can get down here. This is what I did on stream, was I just dug my way over to access this area, which is the, this is where all of the wool comes. Now, we don't have it feeding into the farm anymore. We actually have it feeding down this long chute of water streams, and so the first part of stream project was getting the amethyst room hooked up to this line so that all the farms can start feeding into I'll say most of the farms. Not all of them are going to feed in, but since these farms are both low output, there's not like stuff constantly feeding in, we can send those to storage also. So let me get back, and I will park myself in front of that build. And oops, I'm gonna get myself stuck in here. Hopefully not. Oh, I lost a block again. Every time I do that. Okay, I did that multiple times on stream. I'll have to remember to come back oops. Does that matter? I think I just broke it. I don't think I broke it. I'm gonna say I didn't break it. But what I'm gonna do now is hopefully be able to I'm gonna keep recording my first person perspective of my build, so hopefully I can bring you guys along for the ride on this process to put a build palette over this build. So, or a build palette, a building over this build. So let's get started. So here we are with our completed build. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so happy with how it turned out. It took a little bit more effort than I first anticipated. I got kind of nitpicky there, and it didn't turn out quite like I imagined my reference picture would, but it is very hard to get dome type shapes in this game that's all made out of blocks. So I think I did pretty good with a limited space, and unlike my dome back there, I think it's I know it's bigger. It's a lot bigger, but I also used a online source called something. I'll try to remember to link it below. But I used a website that helped with that one. This one I did all freehand. You can probably tell. Because I tore it apart many times, but I am kind of happy with how it turned out. It's very hard to freeform a rounded shape in this game, especially when you start with a base that is square. It's hard to go from a square into round. So I think that's kind of what held me back a little bit. But again, like I said, I was working from a reference picture that has a dome sat on top of a square base. In art and in actual architecture, it's probably not that hard, but in this game, if you don't start with a circle, you can't really end with a circle. So you saw probably in the time lapse I had hi moss block that you can punch with hands. I had basically started with a square at one point, and I was like, oh, this is already off to a bang up start. But I don't know how much recording I have to sort through for you guys. So this is where I will leave you, and I hope to get out the episode on Thursday is my goal, is 100% my goal. I am still catching up on archiving some streams from Subscriber, because let's face it, I'm super behind in everything. But then I should start also archiving the streams from this world too. So soon, we'll be able to have a whole bunch of Hourglass content on the YouTube, is the plan. So, and hopefully I can learn to stop rambling. I was supposed to do an outro. Just do the outro. See you guys.